Alright, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. If you've never been here before, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you're notified every time a new video is uploaded to SouFLoTV. Newsflash, our morning live show, which is called Morning Thoughts, is now going to a paid platform for members only. Yes. So we will now see the true supporters. The fee will be $9.99, and we are waiting on YouTube to give us its approval, and then we will fire off the thing. So see you in the morning on Morning Thoughts Live. This one right here right now is big story, so pull up your popcorn and kick back and hear this. All right. One of the witnesses, the main witnesses, wants to leave his remote location because them take himself, or they took him away. He's in hiding. He wants to leave his remote location and come out, show his face to the gangsters, and testify in open court. Now I'm asking the question, is his family not in danger? Or do they already know? Well, they must already know who he is because he can be seen on the screen in court while he is testifying. I don't know what the motive is for this, but let's get into the story. So for those of you who have been following the Klansman One Done gang trial on SouFLoTV, you know that we're compiling information from different resources and we're bringing them to you. Alright, so you don't have to go all over the place and look for them. You can get everything right here. Alright, so shout out to the Jamaica Observer for this one, printed February 17th of 2022. And it says that witness number one, when I remember witness number one, a very compelling witness, Witness number one, the former member of the St. Catherine-based Klansman gang, who has been testifying against his cronies remotely since the trial began last September, yesterday jarred the court with his brave request to forsake his secret location and come toe-to-toe with his former accomplices. He wants to be in the courtroom in them face. The court has been poised to finally begin hearing recordings of purported incriminating conversations between the gangsters, which were superstitiously made by the witness who started working with the police undercover in 2018 to help them dismantle the gang. Now, we're talking about the 3 cell phones. The 3 cell phones are ready. They have been okayed by the judge to now be taken in as evidence and used in the court against those who are on trial. I remember I told y'all, I said, I can't wait to hear what upon these recordings, and they're going to be played loud out in open court. Wait now. Anyhow, this witness says he no longer wants to be in hiding. He wants to come out. He wants to be in the courtroom when things are played. He wants to say, yes, it's you that was on there saying that. So prosecutors, since the trial began in September, have fought tooth and nail to surmount several roadblocks in order to have the phones, the compact discs with the recordings, and the transcripts of those recordings entered into evidence. They finally succeeded after Chief Justice Brian Sykes, which is the judge that is overseeing the case, on Monday ruled that the recordings were in fact admissible as evidence under the 2017 Evidence Act. Further, on Tuesday, the 3 transcripts of the recordings, which had been blocked, were also successfully tendered and admitted into evidence. Somebody goes cook now. The transcription of the recording began in 2019 and ended in 2021, the court has heard. So in other words, is a whole heap of information them have upon them. Whole heap. It started in 2019 and 2021 is when it ended. And here we are in 2022 and they are in court going through it. Boy. Now yesterday, after witness number 1 who was being recalled by the Crown, identified for the court the 3 phones that he allegedly used to record the calls. The much anticipated moment seemed to have arrived after a nail-biting wait during which the court registrar tried to open and play the first of the audio files, which is on the court's register as Exhibit 50. The court hurdle cleared. The prosecutor, leading the evidence, instructed the witness, "Please listen to the recording. I will ask you some questions afterwards." The beginning of the audio from the ongoing call, which supposedly took place on April 23rd of 2019, that particular one they were about to play, was being played for a second time, as the first attempt had been distorted when the witness made his startling approval, or his startling proposal rather. So they tried to play it before, but the witness said, "I no longer want to be in hiding. I want to come out." Big disruption in the court. Nobody no hear nothing. Everybody attention was turned to what him just said. Him no want their way. He wants to come where? And they had to replay that piece over again. It's kind of similar to the reaction that the courtroom got when they played the evidence on the big screen in the courtroom of the 2 bodies, the man and the woman who they had shot up and burnt in the house. And they played the 2 crispy bodies, because that's what it was, right? And they played those, and then certain people started laughing, and they laughed so hard they had to cover their mouths. And this sent the judge into shock, just looking at it and looking at the persons who were accused of doing it, actually looking at it too and laughing. And the judge was so disgusted, the judge had to ask for, I believe it was a 20-minute recession, 20-minute break before they came back. So similar to that reaction, while they were playing that, this witness said, "You know what? I don't want them in a lockup no more. I don't want to be in hiding in no remote location. I want to come out. I want to come there, come testify in the courtroom, in front of them." The whole courtroom popped down, and they had to replay that piece again. "Your Honor, I can recognize the voice, but I still can't hear 100% clearly. I know that person is Citypuss. Citypuss, who is accused, who is yet to be formally identified for the court." So when he said he wants to come to the courthouse and identify these who is talking on the thing in front of the court and testify before them, including before the gangsters, him not hide from them, him not afraid of them no more. It was also the fact that while they were playing it, where he was at, couldn't hear them properly. Now the recording is clear. It can be heard clearly by those who are in the courtroom. But you know how recordings go already when it's transmitted through electronics. You know, the breakdown and the feedback, and him really couldn't hear it from where he was at through a screen. So he said he wants to be there. Leave in the comment section and tell me if you think that's a wise idea. Anyhow, Your Honor, can I be permitted to come into the courthouse, sir? Inside the courthouse? The witness, who had claimed that he has had to bleach his face, change his hairstyle, hide from the gang as he's being hunted, he requested to come into the courthouse. Let me say it again. This is the witness who claimed that he had to bleach his skin, change his hairstyle, and hide from the gang because he feared he was being hunted. He's the one who is now requesting to come into the courtroom and identify. You know, at this point, he probably thinks he has nothing to lose. "You want to come inside the court?" the judge asked. The judge was puzzled. "You're brave." The judge said, "You want to come inside the court?" "Yes, sir," the witness said. Now, mind you, for those of you who've been following this, you know, said this witness right here is somebody who has admitted to being involved in a few murders and also admitted to witnessing a few murders that he was not involved in. This is the witness that I had said earlier they were going to look at as the most credible witness, because witness number 2, who claimed that he was also the banker and the driver and claimed that he was a Don but he did not see any violence and he was not involved in any violence, he sounds less credible, because you can't be a Don in a place where you're Don and tell yourself to turn up the violence and you're not involved in anything and you never see nothing, right? So this one now, who is even implicating himself in murders, I was there at the scene, me and so do it. He's a dangerous witness. I don't know if they're going to permit him to come into the courtroom, but that is what he is requesting. You want to come into the court? The judge said. Yes, sir, the witness responded. Said the trial judge, that is a matter the prosecutors and the defense would have to decide. My lord, this is what he said. My lord, I crave your indulgence for a moment. I need to confer. This is what the prosecutor leading the evidence indicated. That indication saw the court rising for 15 minutes to allow for discussion between prosecutors and the defense. Now, upon resuming, the Chief Justice indicated that the trial would be adjourned to allow for the court to retreat to his chambers for a case management conference. Boy, you know, they will have to decide if they want to do this, because, which is the prosecution and the defense will have to decide if they want to do this. This is a dangerous ploy, because if he comes out of hiding, comes to court and testify, yes, he might be a credible witness, and yes, his testimony in court in person even will bolster his credibility, but he might also get dashed away and then be no more. So the witness who has told the court that in terms of rank, he and Citypuss fall after alleged leader Andre Blackman Bryan. So he's a high-ranking member. The accused, Stephanie Christie, and another individual called Biggs, who is not on trial, has also said that he has never seen Citypuss face to face. In October last year, he described Citypuss as evil, claiming to have multiple telephone conversations with him. Those conversations, he alleged, were laced with violence, nothing but violence, as Citypuss always had somebody who him did want for dead. So Citypuss was a man where anytime them talk, it was about murder. Who is going to get killed next? According to his claim, Citypuss had a long list, and Citypuss made sure that these murders were carried out, or that they were hot on the heels of the persons that they wanted to kill. Citypuss called me like every night. Sometime me on the phone for hours with him. More than one of us speaking, he told the court, noting that those calls usually included Bryan, Christie, Bryan, who is Blackman Bryan, and Christie, who is the only woman among the 33 accused, and several others on the same phone call. The witness, who is the second ex-member of the gang to take the stand in November of last year, said that he downloaded a call recording app to automatically tape multi-cell phone conversations, which he saved. He said that he forwarded the recordings to the police when the memory became full. He told the court that he had been the one to approach the police investigators with an offer to oust the gang after alleged leader Andre Blackman Bryan had been taken into custody. He said initially investigators had disbelieved him when he told them that Bryan, who was then incarcerated, had called him from a private phone from inside of the prison. Me tell the police them, him call me from prison, inside. The police them said, nah sir, him can't call you from inside because him lock up. Him say, yes man, him call me from inside. Him have a phone in them, I tell you. He said that while in their presence, turn up in front of the same police who he's been telling this and they've been disbelieving him, his phone rang and he received a call. And the call was from Bryan while Bryan was in prison. And he put the phone on speaker so that they could hear Bryan speaking to him for themselves. At which point they realized that, rotted, we're onto something here. We can use you. Okay, so you're ready to give them up, right? Now let's not forget the other part of this. Some people are saying that he's an innocent man and he was the one that went to the police and said, let's oust my gang. I don't want them in existence anymore. But others are saying that no, what happened here was he had inside information that indictments were coming down and he was going to be a part of it unless he wanted to play this role. This is a way for him to take himself out of the prosecution, is if he played the role of snitch. And he chose to play the role of snitch. So this is how he ended up in this manner. Anyways, the witness has told the court how after a conversation including Bryan and Citypuss, he received instructions to collect a gun which was being held by the accused, who is Royal Taylor. He said that he called a member of the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigation, which is CTOC, with who he was in contact with. He said he allowed the CTOC investigator to drive his car to a yard on Jones Avenue, which was part of the gang's stomping grounds. Once there, he said that the accused, who is Royal Taylor, entered that yard through a fence, carrying a gun in a black scandal bag. He said Taylor handed him the weapon, telling him not to move as another individual was coming with the con. The con was words for bullets. The witness famously testified that he introduced the investigator who was with him to the unsuspecting gangsters as his uncle. He, in the meantime, has maintained that in giving evidence against Bryan, he was afraid, and he still remains very afraid. He, however, during the trial has said, I told myself, even if I was charged, I would do my time to save my people's lives. According to the witness, it wasn't part of me to be part of a gang. I was forced into this gang by Blackman. I am not a crime producer. I had no choice. Either I do what Blackman told me to do, or I would be dead. In other words, there are people in certain areas, in certain communities, where when the gang comes for you and says it's time to join and go put in work, they have to do it. Simply have to do it. They can run, but Jamaica is only but so big. So if you run from Kingston, go to Clarendon or go to St. Elizabeth, these people circle the island. Eventually they will run into you. And when them run into you, them are going to recognize you as the youth that run. So you are going to pick up con just for that reason. Pick up con. Remember, say con means bullets. So he said that he did not want to join that gang in the first place. He was forced to join the gang by Blackman. And he's not a crime producer. And that if he didn't do it, he would be dead. 32 men and 1 woman are being accused as members of the gang and are on trial for various atrocities allegedly committed by the criminal enterprise. Let's not forget, the one lone female in all of this is also a pastor. The matter will resume this morning at 10. It, however, was not clear whether the request that was made by the witness to come out of hiding, leave his remote location, which he has been testifying from all along, and come to the courthouse to stand toe-to-toe, face-to-face with these gangsters and give his full testimony and have the recordings from the 3 phones played out as he identifies and points them out who is that speaking at that particular time. So we haven't been clear yet if he's been granted that. Stay tuned, because that one here wrap up like a Hollywood movie, may I tell you. Stay tuned because it's going to get very interesting, especially once those recordings start to play. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you on the next video with SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.